right, we got a Silverado. She's just a little bit frozen, so let's get this thing in the air and see what the issue is. Gotta give her the old bounce test, make sure she ain't gonna fall on her frontal lobe. Let's see what we got going on here. Old constant velocity axles. These things are a common issue in Alaska. I think the ice buildup on the lower control arms ends up ripping apart the boots there, but maybe that's just my theory. I don't know. So, let's get to work. Since she's frozen, give her a couple of ooftas, set her to the side, and then we'll start on the other side. Get that one free too. Sometimes when I get to ripping lug nuts off like that, I almost feel like I could be part of a NASCAR pit crew. But we can all dream, right? So I'll start with the CV axle nut on both sides. Get that done and out of the way. I'm going to work pretty systematically on this just because I'm doing both sides. So let's get the skidder plate out of the way. They got 4, I think 15 mil bolts and then a couple of 10 mil ones. You know, the more newer cars that I work on, the more I notice that they just add just random crap in the way. Like, why have 2 different size bolts for a skid plate? It's just a damn skid plate. There's no reason to piss off every mechanic known to mankind by making them carry around a tool belt like Tim the Toolman Taylor. Good Lord. This is what it's like working in Alaska. Gotta love it. Anywho, I'm going to fire off some of these inner CV axle bolts. Basically 15 mil Milwaukee will get her done. When you're halfway through them, then just rotate the axle to the other side. Just spin it around and then you'll get to all, I think, 6 of them. So I'm going to do both sides here because like I said earlier, I'm trying to do things systematically. So once you get all 6 bolts fired off on both sides, then you work on the sway bar links. Now both sides need to be undone to make this easy, or else you'll be fighting the tension on the load on the other side while you're trying to lift this side up to get the damn axle out of the way. Only experience has taught me that. Now remember, a wrench can be a pry bar, can be a crow's foot, a lady's heel, or a nunchuck. You can decide that. Now this is good practice here, is to reorganize the sway bar links in the order they came off of. Those little bushings kind of really only go one way once they're worn in like that. And if you pay attention when you go back together, you'll notice it doesn't quite sit right if you don't have them the right way. Anyway, let's get this front strut bolt off here. The lower one closest to the CV axle, because you need that little bit of room for that axle to drop down. You only got to take off just this one bolt. Well, what I tried to do was tried to cheat, to be honest with you. A lot of times you can just slide that axle out between the differential without having to undo the upper control arm, but I didn't get that lucky. In fact, I feel like if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have luck at all. So I like to keep a pry bar on the upper control arm while I undo that bolt. That way it doesn't come flying up at you and mock Jesus. Undo that and then your brake line hose, and then basically just give her a couple love taps. She'll slide right out of there. Now while you're manipulating this thing out of there, keep an eye on your brake lines. I know those look like they're stretch arm strong right now, but believe it or not, there is a little bit of wiggle room there. I don't like to keep tension on things like that. See? There's a little bit of wiggle room there. About as tight as a guitar string, you know? Not too bad. So anyway, lift up your sway bar link. See how much easier that is, that sway bar? Man, if the tension was on the other side, you'd be fighting that and probably end up ripping that boot on the way in. So that's nice having both sides out of the way. Now the whole time when you're doing this, you need to make sure that inner hub piece, see how it just fell down, needs to stay up when you're putting that upper ball joint in. If it doesn't stay up when you put the upper ball joint in, you're going to get it all the way together and then that inboard flange ain't going to line up. And that's not going to be a good day. So now we're on to the other side, just doing the exact same thing. Undo your strut bolt, undo your brake line hose, and then you're going to want to take out a cotter pin. This guy just jammed a U-clip right through it. I don't know. It wasn't even a full cotter pin. It was just a piece of wire. But I guess it's better than nothing. I couldn't tell you. Let me know in the comments if you like that upside down hammer technique. That backwards fist looking thing. I don't know. It seems to work pretty dang good. So anyway, do the exact same thing that you did on the other side. Slide her in, slide her out. Make sure that sway bar is out of the way there. You don't want to rip that boot on the way in, man. That would absolutely suck. And then keep your inboard up while you're putting that ball joint in. Then you'll be good to go. Oh, we almost had a catastrophe there. Now rip in those lower control arm bolts, closest ones. Torque them all the ugga-duggas, and then you'll be good to go. Make sure you do both sides, don't forget. And then start working on some of your inboard flange bolts here. I like to run one as tight as I can almost by hand, and then I just roll it around, and the pressure of it from the CV axle just holds it against the plate. It is super nice that way. Now make sure you get them all started by hand and pretty flush, or else when you go to torque them Johnnies won't go. Now I believe the inboards are 58 foot-pounds and the outboards are 177 on some models and 188 on others. Just depends on what you got. I think these newer trucks like this one are 188. Anyway, put your sway bar links in and see how much easier that is when it's already organized. You just run that sun gun in. Make sure you start both sides before you suck one down, or else it's going to be hard as hell to put that plastic bracket in there. Hit her with that torculation on the sides, and then throw the wheels back on. Here we go with the Mario Andretti. Look at how fast I am. Just kidding. Almost thought you were done, didn't you? Nope. Put the skid plate on, all 32 bolts in 2 different sizes. And almost got you again there. You still got to torque the wheels. I do appreciate you guys watching, like, comment, subscribing, and all your interactions. We do have more videos coming, just like the last one we posted, so we got some variety coming up. I hope you're excited.